And then remove the skin.
The face?
Yeah, he's doing a jaw thing.
Covering the mandible and maxillae.
This smell. Although I'm afraid it's going to be embedded in my olfactory memory.
Okay. All right. Need to get that a little bit out of the way. Good.
I know.
Masseter muscle.
It's the masseter muscle, yellow hairs.
Oh my God.
Let's put that back.
Masseter,
Time being.
yellow.
Let's get. Facial nerve.
Facial nerve.
Mm-hmm. You know, to touch and feel very good velvet. You know? Now what I'm looking for is right here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Come on. Come on. Up. 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 Up.
Oh yeah, now you see that that's not. Yeah.
Salivary glands.
That's there's so much.
Salivary glands, back there.
I'm just getting rid of more skin so I can
That's a little node,
get a
right?
get a better view.
It's that little node.
No, all of this. all that I'm playing with on top. This is all your parotid salivary gland. This is all parotid salivary gland. And I'm going to lay the parotid salivary gland over. There's a lymph node right there. That's a duct. That's a salivary gland.
The lymph node is the one in between the tweezers?
Lymph node is, there's a lymph node right there.
A little dot.
Little brown BB. Looks like the inside of a jelly bean.
What are you
Okay.
holding with your tweezers?
I'll get to that in one moment. That's another salivary gland. Okay. Already have yellow. Give me green. Give me white. So, you have a facial nerve. You have the masseter muscle. You have the parotid salivary glands. You have the mandibular gland, which is a salivary gland. This little brown BB right here is a lymph node. The sublingual salivary glands are going to be down underneath here. I can see a duct. But we won't. Don't worry about it. Facial nerve, mandibular gland. I'm sorry. Facial nerve, masseter muscle, submandibular or mandibular parotid salivary gland. That's thymus. So you can see this parotid salivary gland lays over top of the mandibular. And you can see the rest of the lymph node. I only saw part of it, the rest of it is laying right down in here. All right, blood vessel, you're out of here. So I want to be able to see the rest of the lymph node. There it is.
That's the lymph node.
There it is. Looks like the inside of a jelly bean.
That brown?
This whole brown thing is a lymph node.
Okay.
So then, you'll see why I save this for the very end. Because now, I'm going to go in here and find the TMJ, the temporal mandibular joint. Crack.
I was prepared for it. I knew there was a crunch coming.
Oh my god. Oh.
It's a TMJ joint. And the reason I cut it is because I want to be able to see the hard palate.
No.
I want to be able to see the soft palate. See how I push it and it's soft? hard palate, soft palate. Now, something's going to pop up. It won't splash, it won't spray, but it's going to pop. All right, make a liar out of me. No, it's...
Oh.
I haven't gotten deep enough. See the hole?
Yeah.
See the flap?
Hole and flap.
See the flap?
Mm-hmm.
That's your epiglottis.
That's just
I
stomach
see it.
contents, right? Other
Because
stuff.
this guy tucks back in here.
Knock off is send food one way, air
Yeah.
another way.
And you can see all the meconium. So you have a tongue, hard palate, soft palate, epiglottis, tongue.
The lingual, that's the
Canine teeth. I'm sorry. Canines, real nice, big sharp ones. So you have a masseter muscle, facial nerve, parotid salivary gland, mandibular, submandibular salivary gland. Larynx, thymus, external jugular,
Okay.
vagus nerve, internal jugular, common carotid, trachea, larynx, superior vena cava, subclavian vein, subclavian artery. Let's see let's grab this one and take a look. Let's see. Brachiocephalic trunk. Left subclavian artery. Pulmonary trunk. Ductus arteriosus, ligamentum arteriosum. Left atrium. Left ventricle. Right ventricle. That should be an auricle. Left auricle. Right auricle. Lung lobes. Right lung lobes. Thoracic aorta. Here's the aortic arch, to which this paperclip and this paperclip are branching off of. So that's the left subclavian artery, and that's the brachiocephalic artery. That's an esophagus, thoracic aorta, vagus nerve, inferior vena cava, diaphragm, liver, spleen, lesser omentum, I'm sorry, that's the greater omentum, not the lesser. That's the greater. Lesser omentum's on this side. Since I have the liver here, there's my gallbladder. Here's my stomach. I haven't opened up my stomach, but if I did, I would find a pyloric sphincter. I would find rugae. I would find the gastroesophageal sphincter. Here's a spleen. Here's a pancreas. Here's a kidney. That's retroperitoneal. So this is the peritoneum. Here's a moon-shaped structure. That is my adrenal gland. This is part of my intestine. I will have to figure out which one it is when I get there. But this is my left kidney. There's a renal artery. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a renal artery. There's a renal vein.
Where's the renal vein? I want to see the artery.
Can you, distinguish again between the artery and the vein? Because I thought the veins were all blue.
There's the artery.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And there's the vein, the blue, big
There's
blue.
the renal vein.
Okay.
And I don't look at colors. I look at positions. Because with this piglet, do not go by colors.
Because some got stained.
If
the
you
wrong
do,
ones.
you're going to you will get screwed up. Because some of the blood vessels up here do not stain the right color. It's position. This is a ureter. Because it's coming out of the renal pelvis, which is up here, which is hiding under the peritoneum. This one here is the aorta. Here's the abdominal aorta. Inferior vena cava.
Sorry.
That's okay. This is the descending colon. Since I'm staying on this side, I'll stay on this side. This happens to be a little boy. How can I tell? Because here's a vas deferens. Here's a vas deferens. This whole thing, which I'm grabbing a hold of, this whole thing, if I had a rubber band, I could put it around here. This whole thing is a spermatic cord, which is passing through his inguinal canal. There's the inguinal canal.
That you're sticking the probe into?
Through. Yep, because watch what happens when I pull this. Watch what happens. So when a boy has an inguinal hernia, or a girl has an inguinal hernia, this is what happens. This opening starts having intestinal tract pass through and down into. With little boys, a little bit more difficult, problematic, because the intestinal tract winds up going into a scrotal sac. There's a testicle. Here's an epididymal fat pad. The very end of the epididymal fat pad is the gubernaculum. Here's the head of the epididymis, the body of the epididymis, the tail of the epididymis. The epididymis turns and changes its name into the vas deferens, vas deferens, vas deferens. Tunica vaginalis. Here's the little boy's bladder. Umbilical artery. Umbilical artery.
Show us the whole bladder, Mr. McCabe.
Starts here and runs all the way down to here. Because here is a ureter. And the ureter comes into the bladder right here.
Okay, so the bladder, it seems just like kind of long and elongated
It's right here.
since
Yep.
it's deflated and not full.
Yeah, exactly. So, Vas Devrin. I pulled down on on this bladder. I can see part of a wing. This happens to be his right seminal vesicle. There's his left seminal vesicle. In between those wings is going to be the prostate. I have a better picture of the prostate that I'll be using. I'm looking over here and I see blood vessels. I see a pink one, common iliac. I see a blue one. So common iliac artery, common iliac vein. I come down. Get into my femoral. Yep. So the common iliac comes down and branches to the external and internal iliacs, which then branch into the femoral. And that's what I'm working on right now.
So the identifiers we look for, it's a branch, and then it's going to be
So you find
essentially on
this
the
one.
leg.
You find this one. As long as it keeps coming down straight, common iliac, external iliac,
Because that's a leg.
goes to the femoral. So I have a femoral artery, which is pink. I have a femoral vein, which is not dyed at all, but it's running right with the femoral.
When you have them side by side and they're not, the
Colored.
color is
If they're not dyed, then you're not going to be able to tell me which one's the artery and which one's the vein.
You wouldn't be able to tell by size, like the artery's always going to look, if they're side by side, the artery will always look thicker.
What you're going to do is which one looks flaccid and which one looks patent. This one's going to be under pressure. This one's going to have very little pressure.
Right, so the one under pressure looks thick. The one not under pressure looks
Well.
thin.
This is flaccid. This has got the dye in it. Don't worry.
You'll color
I will
them
have
if you
them colored. Because I'm looking for the femoral nerve.
Nerve.
And as you can see, the blood vessels come around and they curve. If I went down further, that's the popliteal, because that's the knee. So that changes name. That's the popliteal artery that I'm looking at.
So we're just looking for
Popliteal vein would be
structures.
underneath, but they weren't on the list. Femorals were on the list.
Okay. So property or whatever it won't be on the list.
No, popliteal comes over the knee, but that's just
Fun fact.
that's McCabe. That's McCabe. As I'm looking down here, this is my little boy. So, descending colon turns into the rectum. Pelvic girdle.
Thick piece of muscle.
This is the urethra.
Wow, it's really thick.
Yeah.
It is thick.
It's a muscle?
It's urethral. It's the vessel that connects the bladder with the outside world.
But is it a muscle? or
Remember? No. It's a hollow tube. This is the urethra.
So
The urine comes out of here,
right.
comes into here, comes into here, comes around here. Comes around, comes up, is inside this whole tube. There's the little boy's penis. There's his penis. There's the... Yeah, because I pulled away the prepunital orifice to be able to show you the penis. There's the head of the penis. There's penis, which has the urethra running down through it.
Where does urethra turn into penis?
The urethra.
That's a long way to go.
The urethra does not turn into penis.
Well,
The urethra
empties
goes.
into.
The urethra goes through
Okay.
the penis.
Where does the penis start? Where do they join?
So it's
where do
here.
they
down the middle,
where
right?
do they
Down here.
connect? All the way down there is where the
Down here.
connection. Okay.
Wow.
See, I would have thought up further.
Nope. Nope. It comes down through, and now this turns into the little. This is the penis.
Okay.
So it feeds through the tube because then it's like that's how
Yes.
it pees. Got it.
Maud, go to the table. Right there.
Way to go. That's
Grab me
why
one.
They don't have
Grab me.
urinary tract infection.
Thank you.
8 inches.
Here he is. There he is.
Oh, so then the
Here's his bladder.
sphincter is down here then.
Yes.
Okay.
Here's his bladder. The urine comes down this way. Maud's getting the best picture. Because here's the tube. Here's my bladder. There's the prosthetic urethra. So the urine comes out of here, comes down the urethra, comes down the urethra, comes down the urethra, and as soon as it gets into the base of the penis, it now starts going through this fleshy penis.
Okay.
So inside this penis is my urethra. And this is the tube that carries the sperm as well as the urine. We have, in a human, there's a prostate, there are seminal vesicles, and there's a bulbourethral gland. Well, in the piglet, you have the vas deferens, there is the right seminal vesicle, there is the left seminal vesicle, and I can start to see, let's just, nope, I can't see it. Unless I cut this. But now I'm revealing the seminal vesicles. See them? 1, 2, and look down the center. Down the center is where you're going to find the prostate. Because here's the bladder, and here starts the urethra, right here. But this thing, as I am looking at it, it looks wing, body. Wing, body. Seminal vesicle, prostate. Vas deferens. also called the ductus deferens. Well, I got a bunch of feces coming out. I'm not done yet. I haven't finished the little boy yet. I still got reproductive organs I got to worry about.
She stopped at the feces.
Yeah, I stopped with
Basically
feces
giving you lab
Yep.
tests.
because here is the bulbourethral gland. There's one. The second is here because this guy belongs. There's the second bulbourethral gland. 1, 2, and down here is the bulbocavernosus muscle. This is the muscle right here that's responsible for propelling the semen all the way up this big tube to the outside world. I don't have the vagus nerve exposed, but the vagus nerve would be in the leg. Jejunum, ilium, transverse colon, blind pouch. It's got to be the cecum. Yep,
Which
Where-
one's cecum?
there's the cecum right here. See, it goes nowhere.
That's the
It's
last
a
one.
blind pouch. Food comes in from the ilium, goes past the ileocecal valve right here, and goes into the cecum, which then goes into the ascending colon, which goes into the transverse colon,
Descending colon.
transverse colon, which goes into the descending colon. That's pancreas, right there. That's part of it. There's my gallbladder. Don't forget that there are models sitting up there on the table of male and female anatomy and anatomy. That,
You sick?
that pair of scissors is going to be repaired.
Put Vicks on me. That's why I smell like Vicks. Ooh,
They're horrible.
got a lot of Vicks. That's the worst, to be sick. Ugh.
And the reason I'm just playing, opening things up here is because I want to see the gallbladder. I want to see the cystic duct.
So how are we going to label these? Are you just going to stick the pins in them?
Oh, I can put pins in them. I can put arrows on them.
Can you put pins?
No,
Only because I feel like
not right now. I
paper
won't. But
clips are hard to
Nothing on the
see what it's
Pins, you
holding
can
unless
narrow
you're...
down much
Yeah.
more what you're really looking
Yeah,
at.
because
until
when
you
you put
move the
arrow,
paper
it's
clips-
confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Why?
It is.
Well, until we move the paper clips, you can't really see what it's like pulling at. And if it's going to be just a picture,
I think the little colored pins are
Yeah.
good.
they just identify specifically what you're looking at.
But if you put the arrow, it's like, which one?
Yeah.
the problem is, watch what happens when I put a pin in here. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I'm watching very closely.
Let's see how long. Let me see if I can put a pin right here. You see this duct right here?
Oh, yeah.
You see the duct?
Under it,
Underneath of it. It's right
That
here.
little duck? Okay.
Yes. That's one of the hepatic ducts. You want me to try and pin that?
No.
Yeah, but if you drew an arrow to that area.
If I put an arrow like this,
Okay, that's fine then.
If that arrow were really that fine tipped, but those, I think sometimes those arrows are not so fine tipped.
Yeah. I have got.
would you like me to do anything else?
Put your finger on them.
that's the answers. I mean,
With the answers, wouldn't help.
see, like now I know you're asking about the gallbladder with that pin.
Yeah. You can ask certain questions with the pin and certain with the arrow.
So that's the hepatic one?
Because I put the pin there, and somebody's going to tell me that's the liver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see
And the
that.
problem is, that's the cystic duct.
So that one's the cystic duct on that side, and then the one underneath it's the hepatic, or one of them?
The gallbladder?
That's the hepatic
Oh, the
duct.
hepatic duct.
Yeah, you're right. The pin doesn't really work.
Yeah.
I don't want green.
But maybe you
And then
could
we all
take
get that
a
wrong.
probe and pull it out so that you're pulling it away from the other tissue, and then you can definitely tell what it is you're talking about.
What's that one?
That's the gallbladder. That's the cystic duct.
The black?
Yep. This, what color blue you want to call it? Darker blue. That's the hepatic duct,
Okay.
which joins the common bile duct.
Oh, okay.
This is the common bile duct. And how does McCabe know it's the common bile duct? Because where does this duct go?
To the gallbladder and then down.
It goes into here.
Intestine.
You see it going in?
Yeah.
See it? Yes or no?
I see
Yes.
it.
Goes into the duodenum.
Yeah.
Come over here.
Duodenum.
Jennifer,
Yeah,
come over here.
right.
Over here.
Oh, yeah, we can see it.
So is that the small intestine or the large intestine?
You tell me.
The small, right?
It goes into
You
the
see the tube?
duodenum.
That's the duodenum.
This is the duodenum. So
That's the
where
first
does
part?
where does the common bile duct enter?
The small.
Goes into the duodenum.
That's what I said.
This girl's always got her nail on fleek. Damn. The rest of us with our crispy ass nails.
Oh, yeah, I see it way better now that you cut it. You can see the diffraction. So,
What's this? Oh,
common bile duct connects to, what's the black one? The
The cystic duct
cystic duct, and then that
joins
connects-
joins the hepatic ducts to form the common bile duct, which goes into
The duodenum.
a duodenum.
Okay. Yeah. I like that.
At least he, yeah, because that was probably going to be hard to know.
You want to go over it one more time?
And somebody's going to tell me, guess, I can't see it, McCabe, because you just took a picture and all I see are the heads of the pins.
I know. You know I
true.
have pins without the heads on them?
Then how are you going to differentiate the colors?
Well, I can't.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect world.
Hello. I know it's not a perfect world. But that's why you're supposed to sit there and say, okay, fine. Gallbladder. What comes out of the gallbladder?
The bile.
The cystic
Cystic
duct.
ducts.
The cystic duct is joined by the
Hepatic duct.
hepatic duct.
Then to the
So
common.
I want to take a piece of the hepatic duct,
And then the common bile duct.
which the hepatic duct and the cystic duct join and form the common bile duct,
Enters the duodenum.
which empties into the duodenum.
Right.
What's the name of the sphincter?
External?
Pyloric.
Yes.
The
No,
pyloric.
pyloric.
The pyloric sphincter.
'Cause that's the stomach that you're opening, right?
I'm cutting the stomach right now.
To see the sphincter.
It's going to show us the gastroesophageal.
Because we'll be able to see the rogae and...
And this guy is just loaded.
Oh, you didn't empty yours.
Yes, I've got a messy pig.
How do they have like grass in there?
It's
It looks
not
like
grass.
It's called that,
It's meconium.
meconium.
It's very
It's
grassy
meconium.
looking.
They look like little balls of poop.
He basically went over the whole lab.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
This was a living entity. It was living for 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3
Yeah,
days.
How do they get these, McCabe?
Excuse me?
How do they get these?
Well, they either do one of two things. They either raise them and then have mom,
Butchered for meat, and then they just happen to have pig
they
lips.
can do it that way. And if I clean this, and you have already cleaned your pig out,
Yeah.
but there's the pyloric sphincter right there,
Where?
right there,
The little butt looking thing in the stomach.
Yes.
right? And you see all the folds,
Yeah.
they're the rugae.
Wow, yours has a lot in it.
And then I have to come down here, and you have the best picture. Because if you look right here,
Oh, I see it.
it looks like an external anal sphincter on an infant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Right
yeah.
there.
I see
That's the
it.
gastroesophageal sphincter.
No, right.
Right there.
Okay.
And that's a liver. And that's a lung. And that looks like the great cardiac vein.
Oh, please don't bring those on.
Oh, he is bringing
they'll
them
be
out
there.
to the lab.
What?
They'll be there.
Well, didn't we just took them though?
They will be there.
Very cardiac vein.
Do we have to know them again?
Great cardiac vein, LAD, pulmonary trunk,
Oh God.
descending aorta,
Okay. I can
ascending
get
aorta.
that. Get this.
Yes. Whatever blood vessels are in the list, that's
Gotta
what
know.
that's what you have to know.
Okay.
Take that sheet.
All right. The
And
Put it
whatever-
everywhere.
Whatever is on that sheet
Okay.
is what you need to know.
I got it. I got it. Okay.
We got a week.
Gracias. So how about the pictures of
The mesentery,
Oh yeah.
right? The Lacey-like network. My mesentery isn't that great in terms of the blood vessels being stained.
colors? Yeah.
But yours, some of your pigs have great blood vessels. So you have the mesentery with the mesenteric arteries and the mesenteric veins. And you can see lymph nodes and lymph nodes and more lymph nodes and more lymph nodes and more lymph nodes and more lymph nodes.
The little dots of the lymph
Lymph
nodes.
nodes, lymph node, lymph node, lymph node,
So I see them.
lymph node, lymph node, lymph node, lymph node.
Oh, that's a better one.
What is that?
Lymph
Same
nodes,
thing.
Oh, the hole.
lymph node, lymph node, lymph node, mesentery, mesenteric arteries, jejunum. Kidney, adrenal gland, ureter. Who's got the little girl?
Oh, look at the little girl. Look at the little girl.